Imagine for a second that you wake up tomorrow with hundreds of billions of dollars in your bank account. What would you do with that kind of money? Maybe you'd travel the world on private yachts, collect priceless art, build magnificent estates, or perhaps you'd focus on ending world hunger or funding cancer research. Well, if you were Elon Musk, you'd construct a $35 million compound in Austin where select women bearing your children could live in neighboring mansions, all managed by your personal fixer. You'd slide into the DMs of conservative media personalities, seduce them with memes and private jet trips, then demand they sign restrictive contracts after getting pregnant with your kids. You'd create a system where mothers must earn their place in the hierarchy through performance and compliance. Today we're diving into the shocking personal life of the world's richest man, where unlimited wealth has enabled a lifestyle that pushes every boundary of conventional relationships, and where the same ruthless drive that built a business empire has been applied to human connections with results that are as fascinating as they are disturbing. This is the untold story of how infinite money doesn't buy happiness, it buys control. And what happens when that control extends to the most intimate aspects of human life? Jared Birchall is a man most of the world has never seen, but he controls the most unusual family empire on the planet. He runs Elon Musk's personal life with the precision of a military operation. Picture a guy who wakes up every morning and his main job is managing payments to women who've had children with the world's richest man, 14+ kids, multiple mothers, and they all get their money through one person, Birchall. Insiders call it a harem system, but Birchall has a more elegant name for it: meritocracy. Simply put, the better you behave, the more money you get. The more problems you create, the less you're paid. And here's where it gets really interesting. Ashley St. Clair, a conservative commentator with 1 million followers, learned about this system the hard way. She gave birth to Musk's son named Romulus last September. Right after delivery, Birchall approached her with an offer. $15 million up front, $100,000 per month. Sounds like a dream, right? But there was one catch. Sign a contract that would ban her from ever criticizing Musk publicly. Meanwhile, Musk himself could say whatever he wanted about her. Ashley said no, and that's when the system showed its true teeth. Her support instantly dropped from $40,000 a month to $20,000. Why? Because she dared to tell the world about her relationship with Musk publicly. But that's not all. When the Wall Street Journal started asking questions about this story, Ashley's payments dropped to $20,000 total, not per month, total. A woman who had just given birth to the richest man on the planet's child was forced to sell her $100,000 Tesla just to survive. Now look at the flip side of this system. Sivan Zilis. She's an executive at Neuralink, Musk's company, and she's had 4 children with him. Zilis accompanies Musk to the most important political events, lives at his Texas compound, and gets status that other mothers can only dream of. Why such a difference? Because Zilis plays by the system's rules. She stays quiet when she needs to stay quiet, shows up when she needs to show up, and never creates problems. What happens to those who don't comply? Ask Grimes. The world-famous musician who had 3 children with Musk claims he prevented her from seeing one of their children for 5 months during their custody battle. 5 months. Imagine a mother who can't see her own child for 5 months because the world's richest man decided so. Birchall manages all of this with cold calculation, warning women of a simple truth: lawsuits against Musk always end worse for the plaintiffs than they started. Each mother exists in her own cell of this system, where compliance brings luxury and resistance brings financial destruction. But to understand how Elon Musk came to create such a system of control over women, we need to go back to his childhood, to a man named Elon Musk, his father. Elon Musk called his son an idiot every day, 3 times a day. Picture a 10-year-old boy who every morning, afternoon and evening hears from his own father that he's worthless. 7 years, from age 10 to 17. Biographer Walter Isaacson describes this as systematic emotional abuse with occasional physical violence. Elon's sister Tosca recalled their father's hours-long lectures where he called the children worthless and pathetic, inflicting psychological wounds that would last forever. The children couldn't leave these sessions. They were trapped in verbal torture that mental health experts believe caused post-traumatic stress disorder. Boring, stupid, ugly. This was the daily mantra young Elon heard. These words shaped every future relationship in his life. And here's the first victim of this psychological trauma, Jennifer Gwynne, University of Pennsylvania, Musk's first serious girlfriend. Gwynne noticed his quiet intensity, but quickly realized Elon was terrible at long-distance relationships. He considered phone conversations a waste of time. After a year of dating, when Gwynne went to study abroad, Musk simply lost interest. No effort to maintain connection. The pattern was established. If a woman wasn't under complete control, she became unnecessary. But the real manifesto of his approach to relationships was revealed with Justine Wilson, Queen's University, early 90s. When she turned down his invitation for ice cream, Musk wouldn't take no for an answer. He walked around campus with melting ice cream until he found her studying. As Justine later wrote, he wasn't a man who accepted no. This trait defined his approach to all women. Their relationship was immediately accompanied by big public fights. Even his brother Kimball, college friends, and Mother May opposed this marriage, recognizing toxicity others couldn't see. And here's the moment of truth. January 2000. Wedding reception. During their first dance as husband and wife, Musk leaned into Justine and whispered, "I am the alpha in this relationship." Not as a romantic gesture, as establishing a hierarchy of dominance. Justine initially didn't take it seriously, but time showed he was deadly serious about this power dynamic. The enormous economic imbalance between them meant Elon's judgment always overruled hers. Constant remarks about her inadequacies. When Justine protested, saying she was his wife, not an employee, Musk would respond that he'd fire her if she were an employee. He pushed her toward a Hollywood look, demanding blonder hair and a trophy wife image she couldn't maintain. 8 years of marriage ended after a car accident when Justine's first thought wasn't relief, but fear of her husband's reaction. In that moment, she saw herself clearly, a thin blonde stumbling from an expensive car, unrecognizable from her former self. But Musk quickly found a replacement. Tallulah Riley, a British actress he met in a London bar right after filing for divorce from Justine. They got engaged 6 weeks later. Riley later admitted she didn't even know who he was initially. And here's where the madness begins. Married in 2010, divorced in 2012, remarried in 2013, finally divorced in 2016. Riley explained the remarriage by saying it seemed silly to be together unmarried after they'd already been married. Like a habit, the serial marriages established a pattern of rapid romantic escalation, followed by inevitable collapse. Then came Amber Heard, an actress known for her volatility. Brother Kimball watched this relationship with concern, noticing Elon's attraction to partners who inflicted emotional pain on him. They're beautiful, no question. They have a dark side, and Elon knows that, Kimball said about the relationship with Heard. From 2016 to 2018, Musk and Heard engaged in what he later called brutal dynamics. Elon loves fire, and sometimes it burns him, Heard observed after their public fight in December 2017. Every relationship followed the same trajectory. Intense beginning, attempt to transform the partner, then bitter ending. The chemical enhancement of these relationships through drugs added another layer of complexity to already problematic dynamics. And it's precisely this pattern of pain, control, and rejection that formed the foundation for the system we see today. But Musk revealed the true depth of his problems in his relationship with musician Grimes. Claire Boucher, that's her real name, seemed to promise something different. Their connection began with AI jokes on Twitter. Intellectual compatibility, a creative personality instead of an actress or executive. Grimes described their relationship as fluid. Despite having 3 children together, we live in separate houses. We're best friends. We see each other all the time, she explained to confused observers. We just have our own thing going on, and I don't expect other people to understand it. But this fluidity masked serious control issues. During their prolonged custody battle, Grimes claimed that Musk prevented her from seeing one of their children for 5 months. The battle left her financially devastated, while Musk became unrecognizable to her. And parallel to this family chaos, a completely different story was unfolding. December 2021, a Miami party, Silicon Valley's elite was consuming their drug of choice, ketamine. Elon Musk and Nicole Shanahan, wife of Google co-founder Sergey Brin, disappeared together for several hours after jointly consuming the dissociative anesthetic. 3 sources confirmed to the New York Times that the pair consumed ketamine before vanishing from the party. Shanahan later confessed to Brin that she had sex with Musk during those missing hours, destroying a friendship worth billions of dollars. This affair highlighted Musk's deep involvement in Silicon Valley's party culture, where recreational drugs flowed like champagne. During her marriage to Brin, Shanahan regularly attended these gatherings, using ketamine and cocaine among the tech elite. One party in early 2021 left her so intoxicated she required an IV infusion to recover. The December episode ended the long friendship between Musk and Brin, triggering a divorce filing in January 2022. Initial reports suggested Shanahan might seek over $1 billion, and she ultimately received approximately that amount through Alphabet shares. But Musk's drug consumption went far beyond occasional party use. According to multiple insider reports, he told people he was taking so much ketamine it was affecting his bladder function, a known consequence of chronic abuse. His daily medication regimen included a box containing approximately 20 pills, some labeled as the stimulant Adderall. Ecstasy, psychedelic mushrooms, and cocaine became regular features at private parties across the United States and internationally. These events required attendees to sign non-disclosure agreements or surrender their phones before entry, ensuring secrecy. Despite holding top-secret security clearance for SpaceX work, Musk allegedly received advance warning of random drug tests. Sources claimed SpaceX was giving him notice, allowing him to prepare or detox before mandatory screenings. The physical toll became increasingly visible through erratic behavior and incoherent responses in interviews. Musk's public appearances included controversial gestures at rallies while displaying extreme mood swings and unpredictable conduct. The chronic drug use seemed to exacerbate underlying psychological issues rooted in his traumatic childhood. And it was in this cloud of chaos, drugs and broken relationships that the control system we see today was born. Today Musk runs his family empire from a command center in Texas, $35 million invested in 3 mansions within walking distance of each other in Austin. A 14,000 square foot Tuscan villa serves as the anchor of this property, specifically designed to house select mothers and children in adjoining residences. Currently, only Siobhan Zillis lives there with her children, while other mothers stay away due to ongoing legal battles. These aren't just houses, they're the physical embodiment of hierarchy, where location determines status. The financial architecture supporting this system includes upfront payments, monthly stipends, and restrictive contracts designed to ensure silence. Women who sign the agreements receive luxurious residences and top-tier security, but forfeit any right to publicly criticize their benefactor. Those who refuse face systematic reduction in support, legal threats, and exclusion from the inner circle. Birchall manages this system with corporate efficiency, treating child support like performance bonuses in a structured arrangement. But the most telling story is Ashley St. Clair's complete saga. The 26-year-old conservative commentator climbed the media ladder, gaining 1.1 million followers on X, while working at the Babylon Bee. Sources who knew her described someone who cast aside old friends in an attempt to become Musk's permanent mistress. She always wanted to be a kept woman, one longtime acquaintance noted about the commentator. The digital seduction began in May 2023, when Musk slid into her DMs with a meme. Musk was very witty, he was smart, he was very down-to-earth, St. Clair recalled about their initial conversations. The progression followed Musk's established pattern, online flirtation leading to an invitation to X-headquarters for an interview. After the interview, Musk texted, asking if she felt like going to Providence, Rhode Island that night. St. Clair became pregnant during a New Year's trip to St. Bart's in January 2024. Musk had discussed children from their first intimate encounter, playfully suggesting they pick names for future offspring. When she mentioned ovulating during their vacation, he asked what they were waiting for. The pregnancy brought strict secrecy demands. St. Clair was instructed to stay silent and keep the news hidden indefinitely. She was completely isolated from everyone, while Musk provided luxurious housing and top-tier security. During this period, St. Clair boasted to conservative contacts that she had Musk wrapped around her finger. She offered to help conservative messages reach wider audiences through her influence over the world's richest man. When asked to actually deliver on promises, she failed and ghosted those who made requests. Their son Romulus was born in September 2024, with DNA testing confirming 99.999.999% paternity probability. Immediately after birth, Burchell approached with the standard offer, minus $15 million upfront plus monthly payments. The deal required signing a non-disclosure agreement, banning her from criticizing Musk while allowing him unlimited speech about her. St. Clair refused, saying she didn't want her son to feel like a secret. The retaliation was swift. Support dropped from $40,000 monthly to $20,000 after going public. Further reductions followed media inquiries, forcing her to sell her Tesla Model S by March 2025. She filed for sole custody in New York Supreme Court, claiming Musk had seen Romulus only 3 times since birth. Legal documents revealed Musk's texts about reaching Legion level before the apocalypse through aggressive breeding. The custody battle has since been sealed, limiting public discussion, while Musk continues pursuing his stated goal of fighting depopulation. His father Errol left a legacy of inappropriate relationships, fathering children with his former stepdaughter, echoes of which pass through generations. The consequences of this system are most tragically visible through the eyes of Musk's own children. Vivian Jenner Wilson, Musk's transgender daughter, legally changed her name to avoid any association with her father. She stated that she doesn't even know how many siblings she has, highlighting the family's fragmentation. Imagine a child who can't count her own brothers and sisters because her father created such a complex web of relationships that even the children got lost in this system. Vivian publicly disowned Musk, telling the court she no longer wants anything to do with the man who raised her. This isn't just teenage rebellion. This is a conscious decision by an adult to legally erase the connection to one of the most famous people on the planet. When your own father is so toxic that you're willing to give up $1 billion inheritance, that speaks for itself. Meanwhile, legal battles are multiplying exponentially. Every mother who tries to fight the system faces an army of the world's most expensive lawyers. Grimes went through this, spending nearly all her savings on legal fees against someone who can afford to litigate until the end of the world. Non-disclosure agreements have become the primary weapon of this system. Women face a choice: either sign and live in a golden cage, or refuse and be financially destroyed. Most choose silence because they understand fighting Musk means fighting someone for whom millions in legal fees are pocket change. St. Clair became the exception, and we can see what happened to her. Her case has been sealed, which means the public will never learn the full details of how the system destroys those who dare to speak. But the most terrifying thing about this entire story is the psychological pattern at its core. Musk applies the same control model his father used on him. Elon Musk controlled his son through emotional abuse, destroying his self-esteem with daily humiliation. Now Elon controls women through financial abuse, destroying their independence with systematic punishment for disobedience. This is classic trauma transmission from generation to generation. Psychologists call this the cycle of abuse. A person who experienced control and humiliation in childhood often recreates these patterns in adult relationships, but from a position of power. Musk transformed his childhood helplessness into adult omnipotence, but the emotional wounds remained unhealed. When he told Justine, "I am the alpha in this relationship," on their wedding night, he wasn't creating a romantic moment. He was establishing the same power dynamic that destroyed his own childhood. Only now, he was at the top of the hierarchy. The system he's created today is the apotheosis of this philosophy. Not partnership, not love, not even traditional polygamy. This is a corporate model of managing human relationships, where emotions are minimized and control is maximized. The result? Children who don't know their siblings, women living in fear of financial punishment, and a man at the top of the pyramid who has everything except what he truly needed as a child: unconditional love. And now we want to hear from you in the comments. What do you think about Elon Musk's romantic journey? Is this just a wealthy man enjoying his billions, or is something more sinister happening here? Maybe you see this as the evolution of future relationships, where emotions are replaced by contracts and love by financial agreements. Or is this just another example of how unlimited power corrupts a person, regardless of their intelligence or achievements? Is this really fighting depopulation, as Musk himself claims, or just the banal reproduction of childhood trauma on a new level? Where's the line between billionaire eccentricity and real harm to the people around him? Or maybe the most interesting question, what does this say about our society, where one person can have so much power over so many lives? Is it normal that the richest person on the planet can simply buy silence and compliance? Write your thoughts below. We're genuinely interested in your opinion on where private life ends and public concern begins. And if you were captivated by this story and other tales about the secret lives of the elite, don't forget to subscribe to Old Money Luxury. We continue to expose stories that the wealthy and powerful would prefer to keep secret. Thanks for joining us on this episode of Old Money Luxury. See you in the next investigation.